Hey, what's going on, everybody? David Noe with Speakeasy HR, presented by Payroll Partners. It is episode 16. It is November 25th, and it's Thanksgiving week. So I'm sure everybody is getting ready for the holiday week and a short week of work. So if you are joining us live, we're on LinkedIn and YouTube. You can engage with us, ask questions on the chat section, and really just have fun with this topic and this guest, which is a great week to have this guest because Saturday is Small Business Saturday. We have Black Friday coming up, so people will be shopping. So anyways, I want to introduce Matt Appenzeller, CEO and president of Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you, David. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And hello to everyone out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are watching live, just comment where you're watching. If you have any fun plans coming up for the holiday, we'd love to hear from you. But obviously, if you have questions for Matt or myself along the way, please chime in and ask the questions. I'll pull them up as they come through. So we have a few things to get to. We'll get to the topic with Matt, hear a little bit about his background. He's been in the chamber world for quite some time. But we have the world famous envelope icebreaker to get to. And I have a quick new commercial I wanted to just share with everybody. I'm going to pull this up. Hopefully it will work. Let's see here. No more hotlines at all times, Matt. Say no more payroll emergencies. With us, you get that human element in true payroll. Service, serve. You have enough on your plate, so visit payrollpartners.net. So, anyways, I've got Sammy Kelly joining us. Great to see you, Sammy.
Hi, Sammy.
So she is actually going to be one of my guests coming up. So more to come with that in the near future, but glad to have you on here, Sammy. So if you are watching live on LinkedIn and YouTube, tell us where you're watching. If you have any fun plans for the holiday weekend coming up, definitely let us know that. So Matt, are you ready for the envelope icebreaker?
I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be, David. So
all right,
let's
get to it here. All right. So for those of you who have watched before, I've got 15 envelopes, 15 numbers, and a envelope. All envelopes have a question in them. So Matt, do you have a number you want to pick out? And
let's go with envelope 14.
14. All right. Envelope 14 it is. Let's see what Matt picked. This is a good one. What is your favorite piece of career advice?
Never stop growing.
Never stop growing.
So that would be along the same lines of be a lifelong learner. That's just the best advice that I can give, and that sort of dovetails into the best investment is the investment in knowledge, in your own knowledge and in yourself. So all of that sort of ties together. Just keep growing as an individual and keep learning.
Yeah. Very good. Welcome, Lisa. She is in Africa. So we have people around the world watching today. So that is great. Thank you very much. You want to pick one more, Matt, or you want me to pick a number?
We'll go with number 5.
Number 5. All right. I like that. Number 5. Mm-hmm. Let's see what is in number 5. What's your favorite tradition or holiday? How about that?
I would definitely say it's Thanksgiving. I just enjoy, the idea of family getting together, and the older you get, and you have kids that go their separate ways, which is and they come home. So our daughter is coming in from Dallas on Wednesday. We're super excited to have her because we just don't get to see her as much anymore. So anyway,
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I love Thanksgiving. My kids wanted to listen to Christmas music as soon as November 1st came around after Halloween, and I said, "Nope, we're not listening to Christmas music until Thanksgiving. Sorry." It's on the radio, it's just like, man, I just can't get into the holiday spirit until Thanksgiving starts.
Yep.
So
Yep.
come Thursday, we'll be listening to music and decorating. I know a lot of people have their decorating traditions and they have specific things they do. Growing up in Michigan, we'd go cut down a tree the Saturday after Thanksgiving. We'd go and cut a real tree down. I remember doing that since I was really little, and still to this day my mom goes and she does it. So when we're up there in Michigan, we cut down trees, and it's definitely changed. People just have a Christmas tree, they have lights on it year round, and they just pull it up from the basement and put it up.
That's very cool. Very cool.
Everybody's got their traditions for the holidays. But so Matt, you and I have known each other for a little bit now. You and I work together on the chamber front, and so we have a great partnership with the Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance and many chambers within that group. But take us back to when you first started getting into the chamber world, because you were in the U.S. Army. So thank you for your service. How long were you in the Army?
Just short of 7 years. Just short of 7 years.
Okay. And so what did you do in the Army?
I was in a short range air defense unit. So what that means is we existed to shoot down enemy aircraft. And our mission was typically to defend the post, or when I was over in Europe, defend the airbase. And so basically you would be, mixed in with an infantry division, and that's what you would do. Right. Yeah. And hopefully you would never, they would never get that close to where, it came down to you to actually have to fire the missiles. Right. So,
yeah. Yeah. And so you've been in the chamber world. You started in Preble County. It's 2007, going back. So take us back to when you first started working in the chamber world. What led you to do that? What started all that?
It's kind of a running joke in our industry. It's like no one goes to school to be a chamber director, right? I mean, right. So a lot of what happens to my colleagues happened to me as well. So I was actually working in our family business, and the local Chamber of Commerce was looking for someone with some sales skills to be the membership services director and to help grow membership. Okay. And so I just built out a spreadsheet. This is how we're going to do prospecting from here on out, and just followed our process. And we had a record year the first year. We had slightly beat that, the following year. And then they asked me at some point, I don't remember exactly all the years now, but they asked me to be the executive director. So anyway, when I first started, I was still working in the family business, but I was doing that part-time. So, but anyway, they asked me at some point to be the executive director. I went ahead and took the job, and here we are. It's 17 years later. It's hard to believe. Wow. But I've been doing this with SOCA now for about 12 years.
Yeah. And so for people that aren't aware of SOCA, Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance, just give everybody an understanding of what that is made up of. Obviously, It's in Ohio, but it's more than just Southern Ohio, correct?
Yeah, so we're an alliance of 129 chambers of commerce, mostly in Southern Ohio. We go all the way over to the West Virginia border over at Martins Ferry. We go all up along west central Ohio. We actually go all the way up to Lima. So I know that's the not so Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance. But what we do is we SACA exists as an alliance to create value for chambers of commerce, and we do that in 3 ways. Number one, we form partnerships and relationships with carriers, brokers, and other affinity partners, such as payroll partners, and so we can in turn offer products and services to employers, and then deliver those products and services through chambers of commerce and tie it to Chamber of Commerce membership. So SACA has now been doing this for, this will be 32 years now that we've been in existence.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, the bread and butter of what we do.
Can you hear me okay, Matt?
I can hear you. Did I drop off? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it just said network connection issue. So hopefully that was
okay.
It was all worked out. So anyway, you were saying just about the Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance and making up what that is consisted of, 129 chambers.
Right. So we're 129 chambers of commerce. I won't go into the whole thing that I just did, but we negotiate benefits and affinity programs for chambers of commerce so that they can offer them to members, and we tie Chamber of Commerce membership to each of these programs. The bread and butter of what we've done historically is through health insurance. The biggest program that we run is called the SACA Benefit Plan, in which we have partnered with some of our other alliances in the state of Ohio. And so we offer that plan, David, statewide through about 275 chambers in the state of Ohio.
Wow. Yeah. And it's so the medical plan is consistent upon how many companies are taking that into their business.
So just for competitive reasons, I don't think I want to mention the exact number, but I will say we have over 7,000 employers who are participating in the plan. We have around 50,000 employees. And so the SACA benefit plan, it's actually the type of plan that it is. It's called a multiple employer welfare arrangement. And to the very best of our knowledge, David, we are in partnership with Anthem, of course.
Mm-hmm.
We are operating the largest multiple employer welfare arrangement in the United States.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I didn't grow up and go to school for that, right? But that's just how it worked out, right? So.
No, but for this Saturday being Small Business Saturday, and the amount of chamber members that are within those local chambers. So anybody that is watching, if you're in another state, obviously there's a lot of Chamber of Commerce opportunities for businesses, and a lot of them rely on that opportunity with that local community and the chamber involvement to really make an impact on their business, on their community. So if you are out and about this weekend, Small Business Saturday is a really important time and day for small businesses that really rely, and going through COVID, a lot of them probably were unsure of what they would be, facing, but the ones that did survive and are still operating, they do rely on the opportunity to offer benefits like you have through the medical plan for their employees. So it really is a huge benefit that I know a lot of those businesses are very much appreciative of. And I've known about that plan for quite some time, back to one of my first jobs in HR in benefits. And we'd always ask clients about, hey, are you part of SACA? Is your chamber offering the medical plan? Because it's really a good way to offer reasonable health care. And, that was almost 20 years ago, and it's still thriving and growing. So,
yeah. So two things about that. It's really interesting that, you kind of mentioned that. So when we first started the SACA benefit plan, we thought it would be a temporary thing until maybe Congress shored up some provisions of the Affordable Care Act. And about a year and a half, maybe even 2 years into it, we just said to ourselves, Congress isn't doing anything anytime soon. So let's just go ahead and put our foot on the accelerator. And so we did. And the growth has certainly paid off. And what that's also done is, we were in a sense, what we were doing was kind of a pilot program after the Affordable Care Act, came along, partnering with Anthem. And they've been able to take this model along with one of our other partners, a company called Consoliplex. They've been able to take this model into, I think Anthem now is in 5 states with Consoliplex, and then Consoliplex also is in like 3 or 4 additional states. So it's been a real honor, frankly, to be a part of something that has had this kind of impact on so many employers, not only in Ohio, but the sort of the ripple effect in other states.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've seen how it's grown since you've been in the chamber world back, 17 years ago. And I think moving forward, chambers are going to play a huge role in different communities and how they really work with their local businesses. So, from understanding the role of a chamber, and when you look at, a chamber of commerce, what are some of the overlooked opportunities that chambers can provide to help businesses, make an impact in their community, would you say?
Well, I think you just hit the nail on the head. Look, they're looking for community impact. So the chambers themselves certainly are looking to have community impact. But then you also have a lot of business owners in the communities in which they have, set up shop that, aside from wanting their businesses to grow, they also want to have a positive impact on the community. And so, what are the issues that sort of surround that? Well, in most communities, it's workforce development, it's economic development, it's attracting, higher levels of education attainment into your community. And so the school systems become very important to that. And so, chambers sort of mushroom into this wide-ranging discussions very quickly as a consequence of belonging to your chamber. So to your question on overlooked opportunities, I would say that if you're a business owner who belongs to your local chamber, go ahead and volunteer to either serve on the board or start small. Let's start small. Let's serve on a committee or a task force.
Yeah.
So that you can.
Hey, it's Bob Pulver, host of Q Podcast. Human-centric AI, AI-driven transformation, hiring for skills and potential, dynamic workforce ecosystems, responsible innovation. These are some of the themes my expert guests and I chat about, and we certainly geek out on the details. Nothing too technical. I hope you check it out.
Sort of get your feet wet on some of these issues that impact your community. And then, for the larger employers, it's really interesting. Some of the larger employers in these small communities, they want to be good stewards in their community, and they want to have, a certain amount of influence in their communities. And it's almost like they're afraid to step out too far into that. And so what they end up doing is they give to charitable causes, but then they sort of forget to be involved in their local chamber. Right. And they need to understand that, in these small communities, if you're a large business in a small community, all of those smaller businesses are looking to you for leadership. Yeah. And so you need to have somebody serving on that board, that chamber board, or serving in a committee, so that you can have the kind of stewardship and influence you want within the local business community.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of the chambers have staff on their, full-time staff within their chamber. And some of them are just volunteers that are obviously donating their time and efforts to the chamber, and so every chamber is definitely a little different. So I think just from what I've seen just over the years being involved in different chambers and getting to know the ones that are within the Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance, it's really just figuring out, like you said, figuring out the chamber that you are a part of as a member, but also really finding the right way to get involved. And it doesn't take a lot of time, a lot of commitment. It's just if you get a group of people that do have an interest in getting involved, it can really make a big impact and be part of the ambassador committee or part of a committee that really does outreach to the chamber members to get, more engagement and more, opportunities for them to just get to know each other and network and help each other out. So, from the role of a chamber, I want to move kind of a little bit in the member engagement, because some people that are potentially watching this or listening to it when it's on demand after we're finished, looking at just members and being engaged, how does your members across the spectrum, focus on personal benefits to those dedicated to the community impact? How can those members, really focus on that as a chamber?
Yeah. And you and I talked about this offline beforehand, and somebody a long time ago showed me a model, the investor engagement model. And so I would just say this, like, as a chamber, your chamber can broadly be broken down into three kinds of members, right? You have one set that is basically just, they're looking for, they're asking themselves, what can the chamber can do for me? Or what can the chamber do for me? Right. So they're looking for networking, benefits, events that maybe they can participate in or they can sponsor. Yep. And while that's all well and good, remember, if we're in a local chamber, let's say in a community of, of only 1,000 businesses, well, after 3 years, you're pretty much going to know everybody, or at least cross paths with everybody. So yep. It's a very transactional sort of attitude. So then the next kind of person that you would run into or that is within that chamber is, what can I do for the Chamber of Commerce? And those are the people who really step forward and serve on these task forces and committees that I mentioned before. They're interested in serving on the board, and they're just sort of service-minded people that understand that, hey, their chamber their local chamber is a business organization, but it's also a community organization as well. Right. And then there's that third sort of clientele. Again, we're touching on the larger businesses, is that, how can I have stewardship and influence in my community? And what they're asking themselves is, what can I do for the community through the Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah.
And that's where things like, workforce initiatives become really important to those kinds of businesses. But interestingly, right? So, we're talking about businesses here, right? So businesses grow over time, hopefully, yep. Right? And so that business, and I'm going to see if that business may start here, but now it may move into this. They may start with, what can the chamber do for me? They may move over to, okay, well, now that my business is maturing, what can I do for the chamber? And with an eye toward, geez, if I get big enough, how can I be a really good steward and have influence on this community? So you just have, as a chamber, you have to be able to identify, where each of those members are at in any given point in time, and then try to appeal to them in those ways.
Yeah. Do you have any examples of members within chambers that have used, their involvement with the chamber to really create a significant impact? And what does that look like, or what did that look like?
Yeah, I can just tell you my experience in Preble County, right? So there had been a lot of starts and stops with economic development that was, sort of publicly funded at the time. And we were able to put together what was known as the Preble County Development Partnership, and that still exists today. So it was a workforce an economic development partnership that is a public-private partnership. And to answer your question, some of the larger and mid-sized employers really stepped forward.
Yeah.
To say, hey, look, this is long term. If we do nothing, right, this is going to be a real problem in our community. And so let's address it now. And so, I'm not going to name names. I can just say that a lot of employers in that community came together and they got something done for that community through the chamber. And that's just one example. And I know that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of examples of that all across this nation.
Yeah. We've got a couple other. Brittany wanted to say hello. So welcome in, Brittany. So it looks like everything is
Hi, Brittany.
Connecting with the chat. So that is good. So we are live on YouTube and LinkedIn. So if you are just joining us, Matt Appenzeller, President and CEO of the Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance, is with us to talk about chambers and the benefits beyond the membership. So coming up this Saturday, Small Business Saturday. So really find the right businesses that you want to go help support. Obviously, people shop online a lot and want to buy all their presents and cross off their people on their list to shop for, over the first couple of days into the holiday season, and may not get out to the businesses. But if you have time on Saturday, get out to your local businesses and try to support them. I'm sure they will appreciate that. So
absolutely.
So going into your mission and benefits, Matt, with SACA, what for SACA's mission to create value for chambers, how has your chambers leveraged those resources to benefit the members within the chamber? Well,
I think the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, aside from the SACA benefit plan and some of our other stuff, we have about, I'm going to say about between 10,000 and 11,000 chamber memberships that are tied directly to one of our programs. And so, those employers, it's not like those programs are like foisted upon them. They chose them because they either saw value in it, or it saved them a heck of a lot of money, or both. Right. And so our chambers have been able to, as you say, leverage our programs not only to gain some membership, but in some of those cases as well, there are some non-dues revenue as well that is associated with that.
Yeah, because the medical plan, obviously, Payroll Partners is also a program partner with SACA. So benefit, obviously, as a small business trying to pay your employees correctly, we obviously have a great solution and really can tailor the software and offering great service to that member. But for the Anthem medical plan, if I'm a small business trying to offer benefits, I would say a big majority of the chambers have members that are under that 50 employee mark. So I don't know what the true statistic is, but I would think a majority of your chambers have members in that under 50 range. So they definitely see the smaller business. So what is that statistic roughly, like from a chamber? And this could be more of a national statistic or just in Ohio, but are majority of chambers seeing membership under that 50 employee mark?
Yeah, for the local chambers of commerce. Again, I don't have that stat either, but for the local chambers of commerce, I would surmise that about 75% of their membership is actually below 25 employees. So the medical plan, as you mentioned, that's the eligibility is for employers of 2 to 50 employees. We also have it for sole proprietors, but certainly that's right in the wheelhouse. But what we have allowed, our part of our value proposition is that we negotiate these programs collectively through the alliance that the chambers individually could not negotiate for themselves. And so that's why we do what we do. And, we've been doing it a long time, and I feel like we're pretty good at it. And Payroll Partners you guys have been great, right? So I'll make a little plug for you guys here. Here's the way I say it, David. We've got plenty of time here, so I'll just say it. I call it the oh crap moment, right? So here's what happened. Here's the journey of an entrepreneur in my experience as a chamber director, right? So the entrepreneur has an idea, and they say, I think I can make some money off of this idea. And lo and behold, through their passion, typically, the idea works. And they do, in fact, start making some money. And then they may have to hire like 1 or 2 people, and it's really starting to work. And then once they have to hire like that 4th and 5th person, the oh crap moment hits. And it's like, oh crap, I not only have to focus on growing my business, but I have all of these other support functions that need to happen. Otherwise, this thing is it's going to spiral out of control. So some of those support functions include payroll, right? It's one thing when you just start a business and you ask your local accountant, hey, can you handle my payroll for 1 or 2 people? But now when you're doing it, for 4 or 5 people, accountants want to be accountants. They really don't want to be handling payroll. So a company like yours, right, who can be a partner, just as your name suggests, it's perfect for small businesses to be able to do that. And then you've added some HR software on top of that. And, again, like for a small business, and hopefully there are some small business owners or operators out there. I mean, what typically happens is someone gets appointed as the office manager, right? Over the course of time with no real, like formal training in HR. And you just get to a point where, that's insufficient. That's just not going to work anymore. Right. And you need some professional HR help. So,
yeah. And it's complex because you have payroll taxes. Ohio is one of the most complex states in the country. Pennsylvania and Kentucky are right there with it. So you obviously have to be accurate and compliant with local payroll tax, state payroll tax, and all of the requirements around that. And if you're a small business trying to do it, or you have a CPA trying to help you get that up and, kickstart that off the ground, then you start hiring people and you got a group of 10, 15 employees. They're relying on you to pay them right and take care of their taxes correctly. So that's, like you said, I mean, that's where we come in and really can help. So businesses really don't have to worry about that. They can focus on their business and growing their business, and we'll take care of the other payroll complexities and stuff like that.
That's right.
And give them a human, that human element to contact when they have a problem, or if they have a question, or if they need to hire people. Our team's there to help. So appreciate that, because you have seen it firsthand, and several other chambers have also been working with us. So it really just helps out a lot. So hopefully more people can consider at least talking to us. If you're not a client currently of ours, we'd love to talk to you. Just like Matt said, having that oh crap moment as a small business, and it's not fun. You want to hire people.
Oh crap! What do I do?
It's still going to be a challenge to hire people next year. It's not all going to come January 1st. It's not all going to be, completely different. And there's going to be people that, you can find and hire. It's still going to be a challenge for small businesses. So, looking at the employer's perspective, and how you have seen those trends over time, have you noticed any trends in how employers' expectations of the chambers have changed, particularly with
that's a really great question, and I'm glad you've asked that. So there used to be something that was called civic rent. It was just kind of your duty, as an employer to belong to some local organizations, and one of those, would be your local chamber of commerce, right? But that has changed over time. So then it evolved into, hey, what's my ROI? What's my return on these chamber dues that I'm paying every year? Which is certainly a valid question, right? And so, in addition to a chamber having a solid program of work, that's where SACA benefits come in, where we can offer these value programs, and hopefully the employer can save the cost of their membership. And in some cases, they save it many times over. But then I think, the way that you asked this previously was what about post-pandemic? And that's a really key thing. So I can tell you this, is that we have heard many stories from chambers that during the pandemic, they became like the trusted source of information in their communities. Because so many small employers were certainly impacted by shutdowns and all of that. I know for us, we suddenly became, we've been, for years and years, we've been offering these programs, and then all of a sudden we got into the information business. And I don't think we've gotten entirely out of that, but a lot of these chambers got into the information business as well. And that has been a tremendous boost for them. They've seen, many of these chambers have seen higher retention rates post-pandemic, because they really came through as the trusted source of information for their local communities. And now they're able to capitalize on that. And now it's just been a good thing. I mean, this is what chambers do. Right? This is what chambers, sometimes people forget about us, right? When things are going well, it's like, what's that chamber really doing for me? And then something bad happens, like a pandemic, and
and then, being at chamber events and seeing the participation, I think more people are going to things in person, versus being virtual. And so it's good to see that. It's good to see people getting out and trying to network and meet people and just know more people in their community, especially if they are a new business or a growing business, and they're trying to find the right resources, the right people to partner with or hire. And it's going to be there. Chambers are going to be there for quite some time. As you've seen, I don't think chambers are going to go away. If anything, they're just going to continue to be a bigger piece and have a big impact on small businesses that really need that support and help each other out in the local community. And people that are going into the workforce obviously don't know a lot about chambers, but if you get into a company, you might have the opportunity as a young professional to get involved in your chamber. There's a lot of them, a lot of them have like a young professionals group or a way that a young professional can get involved and try to find that next generation of chamber directors and people that will be helping out their local community
it's a great way to bridge the question of how does my employer, if you're a young person, how does my employer have a continuing impact on our community?
Right.
And it's a great way for a young person to get involved. So you did mention, chambers have been around chambers have been around internationally for like hundreds of years. Like the first chamber of commerce in the United States actually predates the Revolutionary War. So we're not going away anytime soon, I can tell you that. I also want to mention, during the pandemic, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce came through for all of us. I mean, I can't remember the exact way it was set up, but for a while there, they actually had a 4 p.m. briefing daily, to where as you remember, the PPP legislation was sort of coming. That I mean, they were literally like, "This is exact. We're down to the 1 yard line on this, guys." Oh, and we moved the ball another inch.
Yeah,
but it was literally that detailed, the kind of briefing that we would receive daily, and then we could go back to our chambers. Our chambers could relay that information to their employers, and it just a phenomenal job by a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think that time frame of the pandemic and seeing just what happened because of that, I think people really see what impact chambers have on the community. And if something ever to happen like that again, I think chambers are really going to continue to be a big impact. But if they're not, it's like having that resource available. And a lot of times people forget it. And that's the role of the chamber, is to be consistent with their membership engagements and trying to get members to participate in events and sponsor events. And it seems like every chamber has a golf outing and different things throughout the year that people can get involved in. And so it's just a matter of really just getting outside of your office walls and
right.
getting involved, but not making it a huge commitment, time commitment wise. It's not like you are going to have to be, taking a big chunk of your day-to-day schedule out. It's maybe once or twice a month, going to events, going to meetings, and being a part of it and helping your local chamber. So again, if you're not involved in your chamber and you're a member of a chamber, it might be a good time to kind of see, okay, how are we going to get involved in 2025 with our chamber and try to do a little more than what we're doing now. And obviously look at benefits that are available, like ours with Payroll Partners, and things that might make your business and your life a whole lot more streamlined and help you save time and efforts with the right partner. So looking ahead, Matt, what do you see as some of the biggest challenges and opportunities that chambers will have in the coming years? How are you and the staff at SACA trying to prepare for those?
Yeah, we recently rolled something out that for the local chambers of commerce that we call the 4 critical challenges facing local chambers of commerce today. In order, they are the inability to invest in and implement technology, as technology, as is just racing at us and changing at a very fast pace. The second one is, sort of a lack of industry standards across chambers. I think we need to collectively really do a better job of that. A lot of local chambers just really don't know if they're, they can see their balance sheet, they can see their income statements, they can see membership going up and down, but they don't know how they're performing relative to other chambers. And I think we can do a better job of that. So I would say those are the top 2 challenges out of the 4 challenges.
Okay. Yeah. And, if anybody is not a part of the Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance, if you are part of a chamber and you don't know if they're a part of the Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance in Ohio, please, go to Join SACA. You can scan the QR code on the screen and get more information about the programs, what chambers are part of that, and get connected to the staff at SACA. Matt has a great staff with him that have been doing this for quite some time. So they know what they're doing with the Chamber of or the Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance. And it's again, a great way for small businesses or mid-sized businesses, or really any business for that matter, to make an impact in their local community if they are not currently, or being a part of the committees and being a part of the board. And there's just so many ways that a business owner or someone on your staff can be, a part of your local chamber. So if anyone has any questions for Matt, we do have the chat open. And I did see Sammy.
Thanks, Sammy.
She had just put in here, love the team at SACA. So thank you for acknowledging them, Sammy. It's definitely great to see you on here. So yeah, if anyone has any questions for Matt, please chime them in and put them into the comment section. But, again, if there's anything else, Matt, that you want to bring up before we get off, if we haven't gone over it, is there anything else that you'd want to add?
I would just say that whether you belong to your local chamber or you don't, start with this question: what impact can I have on my community through the Chamber of Commerce? And if you can start answering that question internally, then you can go to your chamber and say, okay, where do we fit in here, and how can we help? But it starts with you as an employer. Like, what kind of impact you want? We all want better schools. We all want better workforce. We all want to grow our businesses.
Yep.
So answer that question and go from there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, Matt, I really appreciate your time and being part of this episode. I think what you're continuing to do is phenomenal, and we obviously are such a great, big supporter of Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance and all the chambers that we get to work with through your partnership. So we certainly appreciate everything that you've been able to do for us and our team, and want to continue that into next year. So we're excited to keep that planning going and get more involved in the chambers that we're a part of in Ohio. And, just wish you and your family all the best with the holidays and your family traveling. I'm sure they're coming from the warmer weather, and hopefully they are prepared to be in the Ohio weather for a few days. But yeah, hopefully
we appreciate
everyone has
the
a great.
Yeah, we appreciate the partnership that you and Payroll Partners have provided to us and to the chambers and employers that we serve. So happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Matt. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there watching. And again, have a great holiday season. I know it's crazy. It's almost December already. This year is flying by, but it's going to be January before you know it. And we'll be ready for another exciting year. And obviously, if you have business initiatives to grow and be more connected to your community, local chamber is the best way to get more involved. So please look at that and try to find the right chamber to be more involved in, and really appreciate everyone watching. So Andrea, enjoyed watching. Thanks, David and Matt. So thank you, Andrea, for watching as well. This was great. So we'll talk to you soon, Matt. And thanks again. Thanks, everybody.
Very good. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.